It's match day. Leeds United against West Ham United tonight. Massive game at Elland Road for both teams, for both managers, for both sets of fans. We're here to discuss what we think Nuno will do. Frankie, I'm pretty confident he's not going to do what he did on Monday against Brentford. So I'm expecting quite a few changes tonight.
Yeah, a lot of changes. Needs a massive shake-up. The more you look back at it and the more you think about it, it was a terrible, terrible result. And it was just the way the game was really as well. Yeah. It's just when you hear about how many chances they had inside our box and everything else that come with that game. And actually, we had a few comments with regards to maybe trying to take the heat off of it a little bit and sort of saying, what about international duties and what about this and that? I'm not buying it, Gio. So we need to see a big old shake-up.
Yeah. What's giving me a little bit of comfort, we're recording this Thursday night, what's giving me a little bit of comfort today, Frankie, is Leeds fans aren't feeling too confident. Leeds fans are thinking, well, this could be a bit of a difficult one and stuff like that. And I always take a little bit of comfort because whilst no one knows West Ham as much as we do, no one knows Leeds as much as they do. So if they're a little bit worried and concerned, that gives me a smidgen of hope. But do you know something? I'm right up for it tonight. I am. I'm thinking, do you know what? We've got to go there and we've got to win. We've got to put in a bloody good performance and we've got to get 3 points. Whether I think we will or not is a different argument, but I actually feel quite confident. He's going to make changes, but I actually feel there's going to be a change in attitude and stuff. I don't know. I think I'm pinning a lot of hope on Nuno here. I am. I'm hoping he's a strong manager. I listened to his pre-match press conference. I like some of the things he was saying. I like the cut of his jib sometimes. I'm thinking, right, reaction time now. You've done the talking. You've been on the training ground now. Tonight, we need to see a reaction. And we have to win at all costs. It's as simple as that. And I'm looking forward to it. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to watch the game tonight. I'm going to a wedding organised before the fixture changes. A nice one, Sky Sports. So it really peed me off. So you can be with this man tonight for the watch along. So if you're going to the game, enjoy it. If not, do come along. Gonz will be doing the build-up show, and Frankie will be with you with the watch along tonight. So shall we turn our attention to the tactics board, Frankie? And let's try and guess what we reckon Nuno's going to do. So this was what we did against Brentford. Still blows my mind. The more I look at it, the more like, wow, hang on a minute. Right, so Ariola's going to remain in goal, right? Yes?
Yeah, he has to. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think he's going to be tempted by a back three, or do you think he'll keep his back four for now and just change the personnel around a little bit?
No, I think he will go a back three. He was very... Yeah, I tell you the only reason why he was so quick to resort to it in the second half of that Brentford game, so quick, that I just feel like he's wanted to do it. And so, yeah, I think he will.
Interesting. I think
the only reason he might not is because of who's available. That's the only reason he might not.
That's true. I think he'll stick with the back four. And the reason being is because on Monday, he made personnel changes. If we had started with Wan-Bissaka and Diouf, for example, and that happened, I think he'd be thinking, right, it's the personnel that's the issue. But because he didn't, and then in the second half, he played a back three with Diouf and Wan-Bissaka, I think he might be looking at, and hoping he's looking at, thinking, I'm not sure about this back three business either, because we weren't great at it. So I don't know. I'm going to have to do what I think he's going to do, and then we'll do your adaptation if that's okay. We might end up picking the same players, just moving it slightly. I think Scarles is going to come out of the team. I think Walker Peters is going to come out of the team, and then I'm going to put in Diouf and Wan-Bissaka wherever he is. There he is, Wan-Bissaka. Now, I'm leaving Todibo for now. The truth be told, Frankie, I'm unsure. I don't know if he's going to keep him in or if he's going to drop him. It's just lack of alternatives. We know Mavropanos is out. If Mavropanos was available, I think I'd have him in there, but he's not. So I'm going to leave Todibo for the second, and we may come back to it. I think further at the pitch, he's got to make changes here. We played a bit of a 4-4-2, in my opinion. I think we'll see Bowen, and I think we'll see Somerville out right and left. It's just this... Well, it's this striker situation, isn't it? What does he do here? And he made a really interesting comment about Paqueta in his press match conference. He spoke about if Paqueta needs pace ahead of him, then we've got to put pace ahead of him. And I thought, well, that's interesting because when you're playing in bloody striker, there's no one ahead of him. So if you're now speaking about pace ahead of him, that would suggest that you're looking at dropping him back into midfield, or even just a number 10 role, but further back, which would mean then who are you going to play up front? I'm almost convinced myself he might actually go to this back three and go 2 strikers with Bowen and Somerville as the strikers. Maybe you're talking me into this, Frankie. I don't think Irving will start, so I'm going to take him out of the team. And I think Magassa will. I don't think he did much. I thought he had a decent game in the end against Everton. And whilst he wasn't great against Arsenal, I don't think he was any worse than Fernandes or Paqueta in that match. I think he deserved to start against Brentford. He didn't even come on. So I think he's going to go back into the team for this one. So at the minute, I've got my 11 players. So if I think Paqueta's moving back, someone's coming out the team. And I wonder if it might be Souček or Fernandes. Which one do I reckon he's going to take out? I think he might take Fernandes out. And I'm going to guess he goes with Wilson. Now, I appreciate the evidence. The reasons why you wouldn't do Wilson is because he's not come on the pitch in 3 games so far. But here's the thing. He started Andy Irving. He started all his scars. Those players weren't playing under Nuno against Everton and Arsenal, but he put them in from the start. So we know he's capable of just bringing someone in from the cold and just putting him in straight away. Todibo didn't see a minute. He wasn't even in the squad under Nuno for the first 2 games. Wasn't even on the bench. Then bang, he's in the starting 11. So I think he's showing he's willing to do that. And I think he might think, I need a striker. So it's Wilson or Marshall. I think he might just go with the experience of Wilson. It's just Todibo. I'm just not convinced he plays him. So does he play Igor? Is that who he brings in? I don't know. I'm going to stick with that, Frankie. I think he's going to stick with that. 4-2-3-1, Wilson up top. That's what I predict Nuno will do, not what I want to see. What do you predict he will do?
Yeah, I don't think it's too dissimilar to that. But like I say, I just feel like he fancies the 5. And he, like I said, he was so quick to resort to it. I think if we go to the 5, then Igor has to come in because what else is there? So that's where
who are you dropping then?
And then I don't think Mangasa gets a shout in there. I think he goes Paqueta on the left side of that midfield, Souček on the right, and I think that's what he does.
And so that's your prediction, a bit of a 3-4-3 type thing with.
Yeah.
I mean, that midfield 2 would terrify me. We've seen that midfield 2 against Brentford, and there was nothing in the middle of the pitch. They were just running through us. That would.
I think the only thing that I think he'll consider there, though, is I think that was changed in game, and I'm not sure communication got through to that pitch because you couldn't be lined, and Paqueta couldn't be doing what he was doing if that. Unless he completely ignored the instructions of the manager. So I think if them 2 sit in there, I don't think it's as bad. But like you say, the legs in there, it's not what I would want to see. But it's just what I think we might see.
Well, I want to know what you want to see now. What would you like to see?
What I'd like to see, I think Igor would come out of there then for me. I would put Potts in front of that back 2.
Yeah.
I would take Souček out for Fernandes.
Yeah.
Bowen comes over to the right. Somerville left. Diouf tucks back. And that's what I would.
I think that would be. Would you stick with Todibo?
I would, only because I don't know much about this Igor other than the guy you interviewed who'd seen him play and said he was absolutely useless. So that's
you've got Magassa. Magassa played centre back for Monaco as well.
But I'm only being told that. I don't know that really. How many games did he play? 1, 2, none. Was it youth? Was it first team? Like what was it? So because of that, I can't get on board with it. So I'm going to play the natural centre back at centre back.
Yeah, I get that. I think that would be quite popular. I think reading the comments on the preview, I think if you took Todibo out and put Magassa in, I feel like this is one of the most popular shouts from what people want to see. I think this is quite a common thing. I've seen Souček when Souček's been in teams, subscribers 11s, he's actually been either centre back or up front. So I don't think anyone's been saying, "Oh, put him in midfield." I think they've been saying, "Put him at the back or up front." But I can't, for the reasons you said about Magasa, I can't really subscribe to that with Souček because I don't want to see him a striker. I get why people are thinking it because he's quite clinical in the box, but his hold-up play and whatnot would just be awful. I'm not keen on him controlling and the ball or creativity or anything like that. And I think when you're in that role, you've got to have that. He doesn't. I sort of understand why people are inclined to see him at centre back. I just don't know. I don't think he's ever played there, so I don't really have that desire to see him. So I think what you've got on the pitch there, well, actually what we've got, because I've swapped Magasa for Todibo, I think that's the most popular shout on the Hamish Chat subscribers thus far.
I just want to see that midfield free. at some point I've got to see that, because I just feel that Potts and being so disciplined, and we've seen actually in pre-season, and I know it's under a different manager, but Potts drop back into the back line when we're defending. He does it very well. So if you feel like you want to play a 5, this almost gives you a 5 out of possession if that's what you want to do. And then I just like the idea of them two being in front of him. I just think if Potts can feed that into that midfield of Paqueta and Fernandes, I just feel like it could be that all of a sudden can get the ball more effectively to Bowen and Somerville than what we've been playing.
I agree. I wouldn't be disappointed to see that midfield 3. I can understand the appeal of it. I completely get it. I think I'm a bit worried he might play Bowen up front. In terms of what I want to do now then, is I want to remove the players that are not considered must-starts. Okay? So I want to just leave on the must-start. So Bowen's a must-start. Wilson, would you say, is not?
No.
Somerville is. What about these two?
Well, like I said to you after the game, I think one of them, I feel like he's got to make an example of one of them.
So
unless
neither of them
must
start then.
Yeah, no.
Weirdly, I think Potts is.
Yeah.
I think Diouf is.
Yeah.
I think Wan-Bissaka is.
Yeah.
I actually think Magasa is, but I appreciate
in
you
one
don't.
way or another. But I also wouldn't mind him if he played in that midfield instead of Potts with the other two in front of him, or if he made an example of one of the other two, although that becomes a little bit more defensive. I do think Magasa's legs helps in this game somewhere.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind these two playing in midfield if he had Fernandes or Paqueta and Wilson up front. I think I'd be okay with them too, because I feel like defensively would be quite solid. I think moving the ball would be quite solid as well. I like some of Magasa's passes against Everton, sort of through the middle, in between the lines. So actually, I'd quite like that duo in midfield. Weirdly, I think he's a must-start. I just don't know which position. Kilman, he kind of is, but only because of lack of options. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think he deserves to be dropped, but it's
he's our only really first team centre back that you can. I wouldn't even say you can depend on him, but he is the only senior first team centre back who you would put on that list straight away. It'd be the first name on the team sheet, really, just because who else you put there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's why people have seen Souček. Some people saying Souček centre back. It's just out of desperation, and it wasn't next to Kilman. A lot of them had him next to Magasa. It was almost like these two are centre back pairings, because like Magasa and Souček, just desperation not to see Kilman. But I don't think we've got much alternative. So I think those are the must starts to some extent. It's just a case of how else does he fill it in? Who else does he put in there? Anyway, big game tonight. How are you feeling?
Always confident, Gio. Always confident. You know me. Once the game gets closer, and I start to block out what we saw in the last game, like you said, what gives me hope is that Nuno's known for being a bit of a no-nonsense manager who really does shake things up and give people a bit of a boot up the backside when he needs to. So I'm very hopeful that he shows that character, that he really gets into him and would have got to him all across the training pitch this week. And then he's got to get out there and really, really fire him up. And let's be honest, while Elland Road will be a loud place, I just don't think they're that good, Gio, to be honest with you. So if there's anyone that I'd want to be playing right now, it's them. And that's why I said to you, you said what was more suitable, Brentford or Leeds for Marshall. I would have said this. I just felt like this Leeds game, while we had to go all out to win the Brentford game, because I don't think they're that good either, and we were at home, I just think we should be beating Leeds. So there's no reason why, as much as that starting lineup won't fill people with loads of confidence at the moment, there's no reason why that team can't beat Leeds United.
We should be able to, and I'll say this about every team that's going to face Leeds for now. You should be able to score against them. They are conceding goals. They've only won 2 of their 8 games. You know, we've won 1, right? There's a bit between us. There's not a lot. So as bad as we are, they're not that much better. And I agree with your sort of, like, you look at their wingers, their options, they're not great. So can we win? Yes, it is possible. Will we win? I'm not too sure. I'll get your prediction in a minute. I'm going to stick with my 1-0 Leeds, just because Mondays terrify me. But I also feel confident that we won't see Scarles at right back. We won't see Andy Irving playing tonight. We won't see those things. I am confident he will make changes. It's just, what does he end up doing? What is the result of these changes? My concern is, though, Leeds will be thinking we can score against this lot. They probably will. I think Nuno relies on having a really good defence. We don't have a really good defence, and that's the problem. So it's up to him. Well, what can you do then that sort of overcomes that? So you're not relying on keeping clean sheets. Instead of trying to win 1-0, you're going to have to try and win 2-1. So how do you do that? What can you do? And I think tonight's going to be a big test, a difficult test. But if we can somehow win, that would just take the pressure off a little bit. It'd just take the sting out of the tail. It's still not good. We're still in the bottom 3, but it might give us a little bit of hope, a little bit of belief, and think, all right, Newcastle's a difficult game, but we've got Burnley after that. If we can get 3 points in that game, right, okay, 6 points, not ideal. It's the bare minimum for this run of 4 games, but we've achieved the bare minimum, okay? So it's not embarrassing, but it starts by getting 3 points tonight. Can we do it? Are we going to do it? What's your prediction?
No, I think we are. And just to add, I think that's the Somerville situation. If it was reversed and he was our old player, and he was coming back, we would just be dreading it and just going, oh, you know, he's going to turn up, you know, he's going to score. Why that never happens to us or never happens for us, I'll never know, because it happens when it's on the other foot every single time. But I think for once, that it might be in our favour and he might go out there. He's due a big performance. Like you said, he's a bit inconsistent. He's going back to a place that he knows really well, played a lot of football there. I reckon he might really turn up. And I'm going for a 3-2 West Ham win.
Oh, I would love that, Frankie. I would absolutely love it. I'm going to be checking in during the wedding and stuff. I think maybe putting the stream on's too far, but I'm not ruling it out at this point. You may find me with my phone propped up against a glass watching it. I'm hoping there's a Leeds fan there or something, so I can bond with a stranger and we've got the football to unite us. So it's not me being unsociable. I'm actually being sociable because I'm chatting to some guy I've never seen before. I hope you're right, Frankie. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Get involved in the comments below, and if you're going to the game, enjoy it. If not, Gonzo will be live at 6:55 on YouTube this evening, and Frankie will be taking over to do the watch along. So come, please keep him company. I can assure you, from my perspective, it's not the easiest thing in the world doing watch-alongs. So do come keep him company. More people in the live chat, more people chatting to him makes his job a little bit easier. Frankie, thank you very much and enjoy yourself. You guys at home, please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe to Hammers Chat. Catch you in a bit.